Hey class, I have another Play Pause It review for you since I can't be in class today. So we're going to start by identifying the shapes and their nets. So I'm going to ask you to do a few multiple choice questions here and come up with the answers for each of these, and then I'll go through them with you. All right, the first one, hopefully you answered cube. This one is a cube. It has 6 sides, and all 6 sides are equal area. So the length and height are the same for each square, and so the surface or the area for each of the 6 figures that make the net is equal. And then the next one to the right, hopefully you said triangular prism. This one is a triangular prism. And a triangular prism has 2 triangles as bases, and then it has 3 rectangular faces. The yellow one is called a cylinder. And the cylinder has 2 circles, and then the inside shape is a rectangle if you unfold it. And then the last one was a rectangular prism. And a rectangular prism has all 6 sides similar to the cube, but all 6 sides are rectangles. Faces. All right, we're going to review surface area and volume. We're going to review the rectangular prism first. First, what is the shape of the base of this rectangular prism? The shape of the base is a rectangle, which is how it gets its name, rectangular prism. So what formula do we need to find the area of the base? Since the area is a rectangle, we need area equals base times height. Now we're going to be looking for surface area. So we want to find the area of all of the rectangular surfaces and then add them together to find the total area. And so first we have to kind of dissect this picture and think about what each of the faces look like. And so I'm going to do the bottom face first. So maybe I can outline it here, or the base, the bottom rectangle first, and I'm going to redraw that down here. Now that rectangle has dimensions of 10 by 20. And if that has dimensions of 10 by 20, the area for the rectangle is base times height. So that one would have an area, 10 times 20 would be 200 square meters. Okay, that's the base. And that base, there are 2 of them. So we also have a top rectangle right there. And so those 2 pieces are going to have a total of 400. So we're going to take 2 times the 200. And we'll get 400 square meters for the top and bottom of that rectangular prism. So that was top and bottom. And then we'll do the front and the back. So maybe these little rectangles right here. So we have the front and the back. And those have dimensions of 10 by 7. And they're still rectangles. So we find the area by taking base times height. So 10 times 7 is 70 square meters. And then we have a front and a back side right here that have that same dimensions. So if we take 2 times 70, we get a total of 140 square meters for those 2 pieces. And then finally, we have the side pieces. So these kind of narrow rectangles along the sides. And then those side pieces have dimensions of 20, and then if you look carefully, it can get a little confusing, but it's by 7. It's the same measurement as this. So they are 20 by 7. And it's a rectangle again, so area of a rectangle is base times height. So 20 times 7 would give me 140 square meters. And just like the top and bottom and the front and the sides, front and back, the sides, there's 2 rectangles with those dimensions. And so once we find the area for one, we're going to take 2 times that area, and we'll get 280 square meters. All right, from there, how are we going to find the total surface area? To find the total surface area, we have to add the combined total. So 400 plus 140 plus 280 gives us a total of, let's see, 400 would be 540, and 540 plus 280 would be 820. So that would be our total surface area. And since we want area, our units are always squared. So we have meters squared. So final answer, 820 meters squared. All right, now we're going to find the volume of this shape. So to find the volume formula was, we did the area of the base times the height. So the area of the base for this was a rectangle, so we had, base times height, and then we have the height of the prism itself. So if we think of the volume, or the bottom of this triangle being the base of this rectangular prism being the very first rectangle that I outlined, it would be that rectangle that was 20 by 10 meters, which means the area of the base would be the 200 square meters. And then we look at the height of this rectangular prism, and we see the height is 7. So we've already used the 10 and the 20. That leaves me with the height of 7. So in volume, you're going to use all 3 of the dimensions. And so you're going to take the area of the base, the 200 meters squared, times the height of 7. And that's going to give me 1,400. Now, what would be the correct units for this, since we had meters times meters times meters? Right, hopefully you said it would be meters cubed. So the volume of that rectangular prism would be 1,400 meters cubed. Next, we're going to find the surface area and volume of a triangular prism. So let's do the surface area first. So what is the shape of the base of a triangular prism? So this one's kind of laying, kind of centered, a little bit challenging to see, but hopefully the name gives it away. A triangular prism has a triangular base. So this is the base right here that I'm outlining. So it is a triangle for the base. The formula that you use for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. And then if we look at the other faces, you can see that if we outline those are all rectangles. And so the area for a rectangle is base times height. So those are the 2 formulas that we're going to need to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. So first we're going to draw it out. So I have 2 triangles, and I'm going to use this back triangle here. This is 3 by 4. It's the same triangle that's in front here, but the back one gives me the base and the height. So we have, if I draw it similar to what it comes off of the shape, it looks like that. But really, I want to flip that around. Can I rotate that here? No. I want to be able to rotate it to show you that if I turn it, there we go, the 3 is actually the base and the 4 is the height. So that shape has kind of been kind of laying funny. So I can find the area of the triangle using the base and height of 3 and 4. So the area for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So that's 3 times 4 divided by 2, or 12 divided by 2, which is 6. So the area for this triangle would be 6 meters squared. Okay. Then we have a couple different rectangular faces to work with. We have the very back one you see right here, that is 7 by 5, that bottom rectangle right there. So that one is 7 by 5. I'll just kind of outline the corners, that one right there. The bottom here. And to find the area of a rectangle that's 7 by 5, we take base times height. So 7 times 5 is 35 square meters. And then we have another rectangle on the top, kind of, it looks like right here. I outline that. And that rectangle is 3 by 7. I get 3 right here and 7 here. And then to find the area of that, 3 times 7 is 21 square meters. And then finally, I have the front one, which maybe I'll highlight in this bright pink, this front rectangle right here. And that one has dimensions. This dimension is the same as this dimension. So that front one is 7. And we have 7 by 4 then. So that rectangle that I outlined in the dashed lines has measurements of 7 by 4. And then base times height, 7 times 4 is 28 square meters. So I have 2 triangles that are both 6 meters squared. So 2 triangles, plus I have 35 for my bottom rectangle. And then I had 21 for the area of my top rectangle, and I have 28 for the area of my bottom rectangle. So all together, what would my total surface area be with the correct units? Hopefully you chose 96 and you picked the correct units. Surface area would be in meters squared. So adding up all of those surfaces and area. Okay, next we'll find the volume. To find the volume, we use the formula area of the base times the height. And the area of the base of a triangular prism is that triangle. So the area of the base is going to be base times height divided by 2 of just the triangle, and then we're times it by the height of the shape. And so we're going to take that area of that triangle that we had originally found, the base, which was 3 by 4. And so we did 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 2. We got an area of that base to be 6. And then we have the height of this shape, and it's kind of hard to tell because of the way that it's sitting. But if this is the base of the shape right here, and then this is the top of it, we can see that the 5 goes with the base measurement, which means the height of this triangular prism is 7 meters. And so to find volume, we're going to take the base, the area of our base, which was 6, and we're going to times it by 7. And we're going to get 42. And then what's our units going to be? So I took meters times meters times meters. And so the correct units should be meters cubed. All right. The words kind of got pushed up on the page a little bit here. So the next one is finding the surface area of a cylinder. We haven't talked about finding the volume of a cylinder yet, but we're going to do surface area next. So what is the shape of a base of a cylinder? So here's my cylinder. It has two bases. Here's the first base right here and right here. So what's the shape of the base? Well, the shape of the base is a circle. What's the formula we use to find the area of a circle? This area of a circle is pi times r squared. Or remember, that's 3.14 times r. Then the inside of a cylinder shape, if we look at cutting it open, so we usually start by drawing the net pieces of a cylinder and labeling it. So if we take the cylinder and we slice it open and take it apart, we're going to end up with two circles, and then we have a rectangular piece in the inside. Because the circle piece, the rectangular piece fits around the circle, the height or length, base of the rectangle is the circumference of the circle, and then times the height of the cylinder. So here's the two area formulas that we use for surface area. We find the area of the circle pieces by doing pi r squared, and then there's two circles. And then we find the area of the rectangle piece by taking the circumference times the height of the cylinder. So let's work on that. So first we're going to do the area of the circles. And so we need to do pi times r squared. And what is my radius in this diagram? Radius is half of the length of the diameter. So in this diagram, I give you the diameter of 20, which means the radius would be 10 meters. 10 meters. So the area of the circles is going to be 3.14 times 10 times 10, which is just going to give me 314, and it would be meters squared. And then we have to remember that there are two circles. So that's the area of just one circle. So to find the area of, both circles, you can refer back to your diagram. This one had an area of 314. This one had an area of 314. So 2 times 314, or 314 plus 314, would be a total of 628 square meters for those two circle pieces right here. So now we need to find the area of the rectangle part. So the area of the rectangle is going to be the circumference. So it is, base times height for a rectangle, but the base is the circumference. You do 2 times pi times r, and then you take it times the height of the cylinder. And in this question, the height of the cylinder would be what? It would be right here, the 13 millimeters. And so we would plug it in 2 times 3.14 times the radius. Make sure you use 10 times the height, which was 13. Multiplying that out, I'm going to get 816.4, and that's the area of the middle piece right here. So now I have the areas of each of my pieces. So what would my total surface area be? And you'd find the total surface area by adding up all of these or adding up the two that you have right here. And the total surface area would be 1,444.4 square meters. So make sure that you chose the one with square meters instead of cubic meters. We use cubic measurements when we deal with volume, and we use squared measurements when we're talking about surface area. So surface area is the total amount that covers a surface, where volume is the total amount that fills an object. So volume would be how much water fits into the cylinder, and surface area is how much aluminum or tin is used to make the can on the outside, or how much wrapping paper is used to wrap a box. That's surface area versus volume, which is how much can you fit inside the box. So I have you finish up by answering a few more questions about what you know about surface area and volume and what we just wrapped up there at the end. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.